Hello, good morning from sunny Bangkok, Thailand. In today's video, I am going to be talking about how you can become rich. Now, when I went on my last meditation retreat, one of the monks said, "What does it mean to be rich? When do we know when we're wealthy?" And he said, it's not when you have a certain amount of millions or billions or trillions in the bank. It's about when you have enough that you can give something away. So every day I like to buy a gift for a stranger and give it to them without expectation of anything in return. So that is what I am gonna do right now. But I'm not gonna record it because obviously that's a little bit of a douchey thing to do. So as I said, in this video, I want to talk about how you can become rich. Now, what I think might be useful is to actually discern between being wealthy and being rich, or more specifically, what it means to be the new rich. So the new rich was a term that I heard in the 4-hour work week, and it absolutely changed my life because it shifted my perspective from thinking that what rich meant was the continual accumulation of stuff and money, so that when I had, say, £1 million, that would make me rich. But what the 4-hour work week taught me was that there was a new definition of rich, and that new definition of rich was one that favored experiences over money. And so what I took about the new rich from the 4-hour work week was that it wasn't just about accumulating money till you had a certain pot of gold, say £1 million, $1 million in the bank. It was actually that you prioritized experiences and freedom over assets. The old way of looking at things, and certainly the way that many people look at things in the West, is that we just accumulate stuff, right? We accumulate stuff, we get a job, we put a little bit of money aside each month, we try to build a little pot of money that we can use as a deposit to put on a house, and then we can pay that house off for the next 25 years. We might have a little bit of money left over for a deposit for a car. We get a car on PCP or finance or some other shit like that, and then we're paying that off every single month. And that is our sort of pathway in life, right? Where we're going to do this for the next 25 to 30 years, save incrementally, pay off your mortgage, chip away at the finance on your car. And that way, when you're 60 or 65, you might be able to retire and then travel around. Now, the issue with that is you're spending most of the most energetic and healthy and vibrant years of your life doing things you don't really want to do, paying for things that you don't really need. And the West is a bit of a strange place because it's almost like the things that we own are like the colorful feathers on a peacock, right? Or on a bird that help us mate. It's almost like we accumulate certain stuff in the West. I get a Beamer or a Merc or a Rari or something like that. I get a Rolex. I get a 4-bedroom house instead of a 2-bedroom house. Whatever it is, this sort of situates me in a certain place in the hierarchy. And that hierarchy gives me a certain status and power, and it gives me access to certain mating opportunities. And that is the sort of game that we end up falling into in the West, where we think rich is simply having more. But I would say it's a confusion to think that if we have more, we are more, because I certainly am someone who thinks that I am richer through the accumulation of experiences rather than assets, which sort of leads me into the new rich. So the way that I see the new rich is that you prioritize experience over assets. Now, it doesn't mean assets don't have a place in this world. It doesn't mean you can't own cars and own watches and park wealth and park money and invest into crypto and whatever the hell it is that you want to do. It's just that your approach to accumulation is accumulation of experience over the accumulation of stuff. So to give a slightly clearer comparison, old way might be put a bit of money aside, get a deposit, get a house, get a car. The new rich might be, I want freedom so I can travel the world and I can experience all these things. Now, there is a slight trap here that we need to be mindful of, and this is something that I need to remind myself of all the time, is that we can get into this sort of experience consumerism. We might make the switch from saying, okay, I don't want to be rich in the old sense of just accumulating crap, and I want to be rich in the new sense in terms of accumulating experiences, and then we move into experience consumerism, which want more experiences, and again, we never find that sort of experiential pot of gold. So what I've found it useful to do when viewing a new rich perspective, okay, where I know that I want to be rich, I know I want to be wealthy and experienced, but how can I not fall into this experience consumerism? So I like to break it down into three things, and these are the three things that I personally view being rich as. One is freedom over your location. The second is freedom over your time. And the third one is freedom over your focus. Because when you really boil it down, for me, it wasn't about the accumulation, be it the accumulation of assets or the accumulation of experiences. It was about freedom, the freedom to choose, to not have things in the way of the things that I wanted to do. And for me, to be free to choose where I want to be free to do what I want to do when I want to do it, and to be free to focus on the very specific things that I want to. For example, at the moment, I am in a Starbucks and I am talking to my phone, right, making this video. And I have the location independence to be able to do that because I'm here in Bangkok, Thailand, which is awesome, right? I have the time freedom. I can sit down here at 10 in the morning, right, and then dedicate a bit of time to making this video, and I've got focus freedom, that I can actually decide that this is the thing that I'm going to focus on for this certain amount of time in the day. I have the freedom to focus on making this video and not just delivering tasks or doing work for another boss or something like that. So those three pillars are the pillars that I really see as being fundamental to becoming rich or joining the new rich.
I just wanted to rudely interrupt my own video to let you know, if you do like this sort of thing, then I do have a newsletter that I send out called Trippy Tuesdays, where I dive into spirituality, entrepreneurship and travel. So if that's the kind of thing you dig, please do click the link in the description and or the pinned comment and sign up if you so wish.
So if I look back on my own journey, right, where I look back and saw that I worked in construction sites and I hated it, you know, I'd get to the building site at 7 in the morning, I'm covered in crap, I earned minimum wage, I was paying £1 a month off on a debt repayment scheme, had a 248 credit score, and just miserable, right, miserable, broke, to getting where I am now, to, you know, 7 years later, whatever it is, to being here in Bangkok, Thailand, earning great money, but having the freedom to be here if I want. But guess what? Next week, I'm going to go down to Phuket, right? Then I'm going to go to Laos, and I'm probably going to go to Dubai at some point in May. So I have the freedom to have that, the freedom over my location. I've also got the freedom over my time now, where it's 10:30 in the morning, I can make this video and I'm not on a building site and not doing something for a boss. And I also get the time to focus on this because this is fun. I like doing this shit, right? And it's not just some menial task for a boss. Now, if I look back at my own journey from where I was, which was broke and miserable and doing shit I didn't like, to being where I am now, and life is pretty awesome, it wasn't like a step-by-step plan. Like, everybody wants to give a step-by-step plan for how you can achieve something. That's probably what you want as well. Now, pretty much everyone that's going to give that step-by-step plan is trying to sell you that step, right? So it's mostly a load of crap. And looking back on my own journey, I can see that it wasn't a step-by-step plan. It was an iterative process, right? It iterated and changed continually along the way, and it still is. I'm still part of that iterative process, you know, towards more flexibility and more freedom. And what I can absolutely share is, from my own experience, it was less about the specific tactic or the specific method, right? It wasn't about, should you do e-commerce and dropshipping? Should you, you know, flip NFTs? Should you trade crypto? Should you get into YouTube automation? Should you become a travel vlogger? You know, should you sell AI chatbots, right? It wasn't about the tactic or the method. And I've done a lot of those things. I've done dropshipping, I've had social media marketing agencies, and I can definitely see that it wasn't about the method and it was more about the mindset, because it's far more psychological than what it is, right? Because in order to become rich, or what I'm talking about, the new rich, right? Rich in terms of independence from your physical location, rich in terms of your freedom to do sort of what you want when you want to do it, and rich in terms of your ability to focus on what it is that you want to do. This is a psychological shift. So I remember when I read the 4 Hour Work Week, it gave me a paradigmatic shift where I lived in this worldview and the world was as I saw it before this book. Then I read the book and now the world looked different because I had a new lens through which to view the world. So it was a paradigmatic shift, right? It was a psychological shift. And the mindset is the key thing here. As I said, looking back on my own journey, I can see that it started with the limiting beliefs. Did I personally think that I was capable of creating this type of life for myself? And when I started on the journey, I didn't think that. I had all these limiting beliefs around what I thought I was capable of. And really, we're scared. We don't feel like we are enough. We don't feel like we're capable. And we feel like we can only achieve so much. We're scared to try different things because we're afraid of failing. And that is all just an erroneous notion that we need to try and drop, because there is really no such thing as failure, right? You win or learn, and you only fail if you stop and just never stop. And you might have one business, then another business, and then another gig. As long as you just keep on keeping on, you cannot fail. But I can see that I would have so much limitations over what I personally believed I was capable of, that these limiting beliefs, they provided this sort of conceptual cage from which I couldn't break out from. It was like this glass ceiling of achievement I couldn't break through because I had these limiting beliefs holding me in. So what I would absolutely say is we all have limiting beliefs, and you're either aware of them or not. So one of the biggest steps that you can take to, as I said, becoming rich, and rich in terms of the type of wealth I'm talking about, is to acknowledge where you doubt yourself, because you need to dare to dream. You need to dare to have a dream that you can create a life that's worth living, right? Actually dare to dream. Most people will set a goal or dream about what they would want their life to be like, but they pull it back. They say, well, here's the sort of goal that I want to have, the life I want to live, but let me just scale that back a bit because I don't think I'm capable of actually creating that. So really dare to dream that life could be exactly how you want it to be, and back yourself, right? Just back yourself. And so once you really dare to dream that you can create the life that you really want to live and that you find exciting by your own definition, just because I choose to live in Thailand and make YouTube videos and write and shit, that might not be your picture of a perfect life. So whatever your picture of a perfect life is, have that picture and dare to dream that you can do it, and become aware of the ways in which you doubt yourself and you do not think that you are capable. But then once you've done that, you need to have faith that it will all work out. It isn't this step-by-step process of cause and effect where we can see every single thing that's going to happen, because it just doesn't work out like that. And there is a component of faith. Now, one of the things I love about Buddhism is the only thing that makes it a religion is its component of faith. And in order to sit and meditate and practice and study the way you do towards reducing suffering in your life, is to have faith in the teachings and that they will take you there. And without that faith, you don't go on the journey. And this is no different. Your path to becoming rich, enjoying the new rich, and gaining this type of freedom, right? You have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith that it will all work out. Because if you don't have that faith, you're just not going to go anywhere. You're not going to go any journey. Another reason why this is so important is because if you know that you have a goal, you have a vision for the life that you want, and what for you it means to be rich, and then you can remove all these limiting beliefs and these things that are holding you back, and you've got faith that you can move forward with the journey. You only need to know the next step. One of the things that I think holds a lot of people back is that we don't know every single thing that's going to get us there, but we don't need to know that. So I read a very powerful section. I read The Secret years ago, and there was a section in it where it said you could drive from, I can't remember what it was, like the bottom of England to Scotland, or one side of America to the other. But the point was you could drive a very long distance at night time just with your headlights on, because in order to go a really far distance or a really long way, you only had to see the 20 to 30 yards in front of you. And that was enough to get you to the next bit. And as you got there, the next 20 to 30 yards opened up. So don't worry if you're not sure how you're going to go from where you are in your life right now to being where you want to be, is, you know, your desired end goal, your desired end life. Just see what the next thing is. And then once you accomplish that next thing, you're then going to know the next thing. And there was certainly a point where, for me, when I came into my journey and I started in dropshipping, I was so bad with computers, so bad with computers. So like when I bought a new laptop, I wouldn't know like how to set it up. So I'd get my friend Nish, I'd be like, hey Nish, I got a new laptop and you can like someone set it up for me. And obviously it's not hard, right? But this was beyond my capabilities to just like set up my new laptop. And here I was trying to start like marketing, right? Like dropshipping and step into the e-commerce space. But what I realized was I didn't need to know the whole thing. When I read that and I realized like all I need to know now is how to build the store. But I don't know how to build a store. I need to know how to open a store. So then I realized I had to open a store. Then I had to build the store. Like, how do I build the store? Well, I need to choose a theme. How do I choose a theme? I select the theme for my store. Okay, well, once I've selected the theme, I then need to go out and select the products. How do I do that? Then I go and get the product. So I didn't know how to launch a Shopify store. I just knew that I wanted to launch a Shopify store because I wanted to have a freedom-based lifestyle. But the first thing I needed to do was learn how to open a Shopify account, then follow the step-by-step process to doing that. So all of that said and done, the whole point I'm trying to make is that you don't need to know, and you absolutely will not know, everything that you need to know to get you from where you are now to where you want to be, which is ultimately rich by however you define it. You just need to know the very next thing. And once you've completed that next thing, the next step is going to open itself up.
So this right here is a perfect example of how you can be rich in different ways. So I love the fact that I can come out here onto my balcony and look at this mental Bangkok view. I mean, look at it. And the point is being rich isn't about necessarily having just a certain amount of money in your bank account. It's not just about the dollar bills. It's about what experiences are you having in life, which are rich experiences, right? Because something like this view here, it comes into my awareness, it penetrates my awareness. It's a set of phenomena that I get to experience in this lifetime, and it's a rich experience. Just to look out here, to come out here onto my balcony and just look at this mental Bangkok view is a rich experience. It is a gift, and I don't mean a rich experience in terms of it is an experience that can only be unlocked by having a certain amount of money or wealth. It is a rich experience because it is a beautiful experience. It is rich in flavor, it is rich in texture. And for me, that is what it means to be part of the new rich.
The last thing that I have learned, which has been a valuable lesson to me, was when I was on retreat recently, one of the monks, he made the point that we get stuck sometimes thinking about what's the right thing to do. You know, sometimes there might be a battle between our mind and our heart, and we're trying to think so hard about what the right thing to do is that we don't do anything. And what the monk said was, and he actually quoted Nike, he said, just do it. We think that it's the big fish that catches the small fish, but it's the fast fish which catches the slow fish. So we should just do it. And that is the most important point, because you need to just do it. It's all good to just, you know, watch a video and think, yeah, I can resonate with the fact that I don't really just want to accumulate crap, and I'd much rather go and, you know, be richer in experience. And not only rich in experience, but I also know that I just want to have the freedom to be where I want to be, do what I want to do, and focus what I want to focus on. And then to maybe acknowledge that you might have limiting beliefs or these things holding you back and blah, blah, blah. But to actually go out and do something with it. And whatever the fuck that is, that's going to depend on your goal. But to actually just do something, because nothing happens unless you do something. And that's the biggest thing, right? You have to do something. And Alex Moses got a really good point on this, where he said it took him 2 years to like build a landing page, right? It took him 2 years to learn how to do it or get brave enough to do it. And then he took him a day to actually do it. And that is the thing. You can spend the next year or 2 years or 3 years of your life thinking about what you should do, or you could just go and do something today.
Sometimes I feel a little bit sorry for myself. Do you know what I mean? Like we all do. And not feeling very motivated in the gym, and I got Arnie speaking to me in my ear, and you just feel a little bit deflated, even though life's good. And then if you catch that at the corner of your eye, like Friday night, 8 o'clock, and there's some poor bugger up there on the 20th floor welding at night, and probably for next to no money, providing for his family, and what?
Anyway, I hope you found this video valuable. This is like a slightly new direction I'm taking my channel, right? I've been thinking like, what do I want to do with my channel? And I know I want to fuse the sort of 3 core elements of my being and my personality, which is entrepreneurship, which is spirituality, and which is travel. And so this video is really first in a line of new videos I'm going to be putting out, which is just basically showing my work. And I really hope that this didn't come across like preachy, or you should do this or you should do that. And I'm really trying more to show my work, to simply share some of the things that have worked for me. Because for me, I know that when I changed from thinking I just wanted to accumulate stuff and live in some theoretical future when I could do all these things in the future, to actually thinking, no, I can have my cake and I can eat it too. And I can go and experience all the things I want to do when I'm rich in the future, and I can do it now. And that helped me, and that mindset shift helped me. And I know that for me, acknowledging that I had all these limiting beliefs and I was too even scared to dream of a better life for myself, and just how looking back in reflection, just removing those limiting beliefs and just doing something and just being brave enough to take that first step, but to actually take that step and do something. You know, I look back and I can see how powerful that was for me in my journey, and I'm just going to show my work, because if I can show my work and just share what worked for me and what helped change my life, then, you know, I can not just stand here as like some preacher trying to sell some shit, and I can actually just share what helped me get to where I am in life, because maybe that's something that you might resonate with, you might get value from, and it might help you change your life as well. So yeah, I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, God, well done on you. I appreciate you doing that. If you do like this type of content, please do think about giving the channel a subscribe. I hugely appreciate that. As I said, I am going to be sharing more videos like this moving forward that, yeah, have helped me change my life and might just help you change your track as well. So thank you so much for watching, and peace.